Yep.
It's not the right word. Everything's fine.
It's winter.
Just two ADD people recording a podcast. Welcome to the one about Godzilla movies. I hope you enjoyed that intro. We just were chatting for a little bit, and
all I could think about while you were talking about the top of Dave Bautista's head was that Mad TV skit or whatever. Like, you got a boyfriend? Hey, girl, you got a boyfriend? The back of your head is ridiculous.
I love that so much.
Work that up, new girl. Yvonne.
Ridiculous.
Oh, Yvonne. That is a French-ass name.
That is one of my favorite skits.
So good.
For sure.
Welcome to the One About Godzilla movies. Indeed. What are we talking about this week, Brian?
Today, we're talking about Barbie. No, we're not. We're talking about, as you might have expected.
Slaps.
It's a good one. We're talking about today Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. What am I doing?
2.
Technically, it should just be one hand. The second.
Yeah, not 4. Just 2.
This is, we're talking about a second generation movie title here. This is a junior.
This is a junior and a new version and a backpack all in one. So
yeah.
So let's get on with it.
Dude, yeah. Let's get into this while I click on several things on my computer that are downloading files, calculating trajectory, entering hyperspace.
And away we go.
Okay, so this movie, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla II, the second. It's not a sequel, but it is the second time we've had a movie about Mechagodzilla, or the idea of Mechagodzilla.
And the idea of Godzilla fighting against him.
As given away by the title. Overview of this movie. This is a continuation of the, honestly, pretty consistent movie-to-movie storyline we have here in the Heisei era.
Hey, we got a little bit of continuity going on.
There is some good continuity. You know, a lot of the Showa era was they did whatever they wanted and started over or whatever. And we'll get to the Millennium era soon. But this era has like kind of one long continuous storyline, which is nice. So in this movie, the UN, although in the movie, like the sign on the building said something like UN Japanese something Godzilla Defense Force or something, but it's under the branch of the UN. They form this group called G-Force, which is a task force to create advanced anti-Godzilla weapons. So we're still firmly in the realm of Godzilla is a villain. He's the bad guy, and it's the good guys against Godzilla. And so they are building a new Mechagodzilla. We know what that is already. And they're basing this new design on Mecha King Ghidorah technology, which came from the future, as we saw 2 movies ago.
Yes, 2 movies ago.
It wasn't the last movie.
No, that was versus Mothra. Yeah.
So that's kind of how they justify it. You know, if I was Syndrome from The Incredibles, it's bigger, it's better.
It's gonna be huge.
You have small children. I'm sure you've seen that movie before. Anyways, there's a research team. They are, I guess it started with some hikers or something, but they discover a baby Godzillasaurus egg on this island called Adenoa. Ultimately, it hatches into baby Godzilla, whom they call baby throughout the movie. And this baby imprints on a scientist named Azusa Kojo. Godzilla, the real Godzilla, sensing his offspring, repeatedly attacks Japan to retrieve him. After Godzilla defeats Mechagodzilla, G-Force fuses the robot with the aerial craft Garuda to form Super Mechagodzilla. In the final battle, Super Mechagodzilla cripples Godzilla, but when Baby cries out, Godzilla receives a surge of power from nearby volcanic energy, it says, and destroys the robot. Again, that's not quite true, because Rodan is involved in this movie. I don't remember where the surge really comes from.
Oh, I do.
But Baby Godzilla follows Godzilla into the sea. And that's the end.
And that's the end. And so begins one of my favorite story arcs in the Godzilla, especially in the Heisei era. So
having the Baby Godzilla is what you mean by that?
Yeah. Because that's not the only film he's in. So
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, the baby looks a lot better than the last one.
Yes.
There's no contest.
Yes. As long as we're going to talk about that right off the bat. So, this little suit or whatever he is, like the design is so cool. It actually looks like a young miniature version of the current Godzilla. I love the little bits of like Japanese comedic like a relief or effect that they did with Baby sometimes. There's a scene where somebody's like demonstrating something or whatever and it like fails and they cut over to like the two girls and one of the doctors and Baby standing next to what's her name again? Zuko.
Sure.
Baby standing next to her, and everybody's just kind of like got this like ooh look on their face, and even like the puppet like kind of like droopy eyes, kind of like, and like he looks over at the girl and she looks over at him, just kind of like yee. Like I loved it. I laughed out loud, like legitimately laughed about it. It was hilarious.
Most of my laughs in this movie were at English dialogue, as you might expect.
Yeah.
We had some zingers. There were a few actors where I was like, man, they took that paycheck and ran to the bank. Giving nothing, sir. Giving absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Just doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. I do wonder kind of if pay is like a thing. You know, like maybe you aren't getting paid much to be in this thing. Or maybe they're like, any actor will do. They don't need to be experienced.
Yeah.
It's just one line, you know. Anyways.
Hey, you're an American? Get in here.
Sure, that's English. You pass.
Great.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, before we do that, I want to give a shout out to the way that we attempt to make money, even though we're not making any currently. Patreon.com/the one about Godzilla
the other
movie. It's $1 a month. It may go up eventually in the future, but right now it's $1 a month, and you get a little bit of extra.
Do I hear $1.50?
I mean, it could be even more. It could be $5 or $10
for the price of a combo meal at Costco.
For a price of a caramel macchiato at Starbucks,
you could get an hour of entertainment your traffic on the road.
Yeah, so it's just like extended versions of the show, and us not really being ready to start anything and just kind of fumbling through whatever's going on. So, yeah, if that interests you, or you just want like an unedited version of a show, pretty much, that's there for you, and we encourage you to go check that out. So,
if you like hitting play on a podcast and being unable to predict what you might hear next, this is the one for you.
Yeah. Sure is.
Sick. All right. Much like my freshly shaven face. Transition. All right. This movie starts with a Columbia TriStar logo.
Interessante.
I keep pointing this out because this distribution pattern is probably not unrelated to eventually them making their own movie, which we have talked about before in 1998.
Eight. Yeah.
I think 98. So it's just kind of cool to see the continuity for me of like, hey, this is sort of like a continuous distribution partner in the U.S. for these Toho productions in the Heisei era. And eventually their partnership shifts to them having, I want to say I read at the time that they had like a 3-picture deal or something where they were going to make their own Godzilla movies. Obviously, it did not pan out because it was not a good movie. I don't remember reading what happened with the other parts of that contract, but they obviously did not make more. So kind of cool to see that.
And it's just interesting to see where it kind of picked up and how, like, I mean, at this point, this is only 7 years until that movie comes out or something like that. So,
probably 4 or 5 until production started, I would guess.
Right. And so but like, yeah, I wonder, like, where then
maybe there were already conversations.
Exactly. When did that kind of conversation start? Like, or was it, because we're going to get into it, obviously, the whole movie, but like this movie is pretty rock solid for me. Even after like the rewatch today, I was just like, dang, this movie's rock solid. So I wonder if the success of them in the States started to play into a little bit, and they were like, hey, why don't we get to try our own here? You know, but who knows? That's all conjecture on stuff that I was very, very young for. So
nice. Yeah, I have more notes on this movie in both categories than I have in the last few.
Great.
Longer list of things that I liked and things that I thought were dumb. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I like this idea of beefing up our Mechagodzilla technology, kind of using the storyline from like the future thing as an excuse to sort of have full creative control over designing a new Mechagodzilla, which they absolutely did, and it looks cool. It looks really cool. We really start off hard in like the factory scale shots of them building this thing. There's a lot of really cool shots, and it really feels huge. I think they really crushed that. Big fan. So that's kind of how the movie starts, really.
Yeah, and it called up for me a want to talk a little bit about between that and then like Baby, who felt a little bit like animatronic or more like a, not that it was a puppet, but more like a puppet. The like very obvious influence of things that we've talked about before, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think that's where we get a lot of the like scale shots. But or the other way around, because this is still like probably a couple years before, actually. Yeah, because Evangelion didn't come out until 1999. But the influence of Mobile Suit Gundam, which is something that I started watching over the summer or something, and then Star Wars, which I think you could also probably talk about a little bit too. Like,
Gundam was a few decades earlier, probably.
Gundam started, the first one came out in 1979, and then they released a toy line in the 1980s that is, they're called Gunpla for some reason. I don't know, that's a whole other show. But Gunpla is the name of the like robotic armor suits in general in the show, and then there are different classes. A Gundam is a class of Gunpla, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And so they launched toys in the 1980s, and that just like made the whole market of like this kind of big gigantic robot thing, you know, being piloted by somebody paired with this like space drama, and like it is very much a like separatist versus the people with power kind of story as well. Very akin to Star Wars. And then from there, they just kept like just making these new shows, alternate universes, like all this kind of things. And that just kept growing. And then like I became aware of it around the same time as Evangelion because like late 90s, early 2000s, it had become such a phenomenon in Japan that Toonami on Cartoon Network picked it up and was like listing, it was like Gundam Seed, I believe was the series on Cartoon Network, but like Cartoon Network started showing these like what they considered like very influential anime in Japan that they thought like American audiences should see. Dragon Ball Z, Gundam,
heard of both.
Yeah, Neon Genesis. Eventually One Piece would join there. Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto have all been on like Cartoon Network's Toonami, which is their like anime segment. So but yeah, I think the sense of scale from what I've watched of the like 70s and some of the like especially like late 80s Gundam stuff really stood out to me in this movie of like probably a reference, like not even a like light reference, a like this is a like some of these shots of Mechagodzilla and the way they transport and the thing that is the back eventually becomes the backpack and the guns, that is so Gundam. That is like there's a whole series where like they have four robots that then join up to become one mecha thing, and that was like the second series in like the mid 80s. And it is a very much like these things just kind of like float together and dock, and then all of a sudden they're like invincible. So that was really cool for me to see today when I watched it. But then like I feel like Star Wars, like things that reminded me of Star Wars in this film were like the lightning effects and the drawn on effects of lightning and the way that stuff looked.
Specifically this one you're saying?
Yeah, specific like so far, yeah. I know we've seen that lightning kind of look before, but it feels like they like they specifically looked at Star Wars, it seemed like to me, as a reference for how that should actually look. And then they got access to better technology, like they had probably had access to it with the Star Wars films, right? Like, and then the other thing was just like a baby Godzilla had a not that he was Yoda, but had a like puppet like Yoda kind of like
definitely puppet
alien feel. So those were just a couple things that like popped out to me about this in general, about the film, where like they've just been kind of, it's like another expansion, another level upon what we've seen them like look at other Western media, look at other Western films and try and emulate. We've seen the James Bond feel, we've seen the, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
a lot of eras.
I don't know. It just kind of made me, I guess I just had a little bit of more appreciation for this film this time. Like this one kind of just felt like really, really cool for me. And like the nostalgia for it held up this time for me, which was pretty cool. And I've got like new references
cool
to
scenes.
things and new like links to things in the past and whatever too. So.
Yeah, I felt like this one was probably like a very influential early 90s Godzilla stable.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. And I haven't even looked at any of the trivia yet, but there are a couple moments where I felt that way. So yeah, we got a G-Force training camp early in this movie.
G-Force.
We got this guy who's a pilot who's kind of getting drafted. There's some kind of interview thing going on.
Well, I don't
remember his backstory, but
he was part of the not Magura.
He was called in.
What's the ship? The name of the ship? Like he was part of that program. The the original like fighter thing that they developed from the Mecha King Ghidorah technology that ends up becoming like the backpack gunship. He worked on that project.
Yeah, so he's called in. Is sort of an interview going on for him to join G-Force. He's asked if he has any hobbies, and he's like, I'm really into pteranodons. That is, winged dinosaurs. Way too on the nose. There's zero reason. To be honest, he didn't need to have that hobby at all for his character in this film.
The only thing it links to is Rodan, maybe kind of a little bit.
There happens to be pteranodons in this movie. Rodan being that type, but much larger. That was just dumb.
Do you think it had anything to do with, or was this is chicken or the egg? He had that little flying thing that looked like a pteranodon.
But it's just like but it didn't need to look like that.
Exactly, but which one came first?
I just don't think it matters. I think it added zero to the movie, and I thought it was dumb.
Me too. It's so dumb. Like, why?
Like, I didn't buy the flying machine, even though they showed it crashing. Like, I didn't believe that was real. It's unrealistic. It looks dumb.
Yeah.
There was literally only one tiny small reason why there was a whole scene about him inventing flying machine. This is later in the film. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Over our skis.
Well, anyways, he's just kind of the face of our G-Force. He's the character that represents G-Force, I guess you could say. He does some things in the film. I don't feel like his character has much of a story arc. I mean, there's things that he does, but it feels a little forced.
It does feel a little forced.
It's like they needed someone to... It's like they wrote the plot things that they wanted to happen first, and then they were like, well, the only way to make that happen is to, like, have a character do all of those things, and it's just going to be this guy, and for some reason he's into pteranodons. Lame.
Yeah.
But anyways, the training camp thing was kind of cool. It was like a little montage. I guess because this is supposed to be the UN, like the G-Force, not 100% of the time, which would be a perfect score, but I don't know, maybe 90% of the time they operate speaking English. Like all their missions are talking English.
Yep.
There were some points where I wished I had subtitles even for the English. I will say I wasn't a little hard to understand, understandably.
Yeah, it was a little tough.
Some tough accents.
To note too that there were actually there were some like white people. There was a blonde woman on G-Force.
In the team, yep.
Yeah. So just kind of pulling in that UN feel even more.
And I say 90% of the time because there is at least one scene, if not two or three, where there's like a conversation between three characters, and two of them say things in Japanese, and then the white person responds in English, and that's where you lose me. That doesn't make sense. That's not how real life works. Why would you do that?
What's
if
funny
she
though,
understood what they were saying, she could respond in Japanese.
Yeah,
like,
we are almost to the point where that's how real life works because of things like AirPods and live translations and things like that. But that is not...
That's not what was going on here.
No.
There's just no reason for that to happen. That was dumb. So...
Yeah, that took me out of it. And there was that one scientist that just like... He talked like... He was reading off of a script, and
the guy with the beard.
Yeah,
the guy
finally,
with the,
we are going to begin our final stages of preparation for the final Mechagodzilla mission. Like
a literal robot. Every single line that guy had.
Bang, 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 bang. Click, click, reload. Bang, 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 bang.
My favorite I have written down, and I'll say it later when we get to that part. I can't wait to say it. Anyways,
That was me and Shin Godzilla and the well, you better leave now. Traffic is gonna be murder. Like I was
in the English. Oh my gosh. There's always a moment that gets me so good.
I love it.
And it's usually a dialogue thing. Okay, so I want to say it was like a group of climbers or something that were like, hey, we discovered this stuff. And a bunch of scientists show up at this island, and there's like some bones and stuff. It's clearly a Pteranodon. Pteranodon. I don't know how you say it in English. I was reading it in the subtitles. It was not said in English.
Pteranodon, and we apologize to the archaeologists.
Which, man, they got to get those. They got to figure out those word roots, because Pteranodon, if that's how you say it, is spelled Ptera nodon, but pterodactyl is Ptero. So why is Tero and Terra the same? I don't know. I don't know who named dinosaurs. It makes it harder to remember how to spell it, since I've never spelled Pteranodon before. But I believe you could say a pterodactyl is a pteranodon. So,
if I had to guess, it's something that designates between the size of the species, like raven and crow. They're both black birds, but one of them is decidedly bigger and has a different shaped beak.
Is one of them always bigger?
Yes. Ravens are always bigger than crows.
Well, if they're near radioactivity. Which is what happened in this movie.
Where did it get a coconut?
So anyways, they kind of walk past, like there's a fossil on the side of the wall. It's not a swallow. It's a pteranodon fossil on the side of the wall.
Sorry, I think I watched the wrong movie.
Oh, that's awkward. So anyways, they say they found an egg. There's one that's like broken open and cracked, and there's one that's still intact, and they do what any movie of this type they do when they find something like that, is they bring it home.
Naturally.
But before they brought it home, there's like a camp at night, and a giant pteranodon shows up, is kind of flying around, and they don't say it's Rodan at that moment. And I'm not sure if it is or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
It is definitely Rodan.
They don't say it, but it seems like it is based on later in the movie when Rodan shows up again. But he does his Rodan thing where he flies around really, really stiffly. And there's a lot of wind sounds, and faintly in the background, a airplane jet engine sound. For some reason, they really stuck that one in here still. I heard it. I heard that 737 sound, and I was like,
you know what
we're
it
sticking
is?
with that, huh?
Here's the Star Wars influence again. They're trying to pull a George Lucas. They're trying to pull a Skywalker sound and blend 6 things together.
That is nope. Rodan predates Star Wars by quite a bit, and they put plane sounds
in this movie.
In the original movie called Rodan, and I commented on it then, which was in 57. It was the second movie they ever made after 54, right?
Yeah.
There were plane sounds in that movie, and I thought it was dumb then.
Oh yeah, it's still dumb.
This is just the modern version of it.
I'm saying now, this modern version of it is they tried to start doing something that I think started with Star Wars, which is taking multiple life
things
sounds
and blending it together,
smashing them together to create this thing.
I think it was probably an homage to the original, and they wanted to, honor the legacy or something. But
how do you denote something as flying at supersonic speed? Like you got to have some kind
even
of
though it's moving like this fast.
Yeah, but I mean the idea is that he's or not maybe
the wind
not
is
even
moving
supersonic,
faster than he is.
Not even supersonic, but yeah. Well, he's huge, dude. The scale is. It's like when you see. Listen, here, I'm going to, I don't know if I can do this, but Caleb, Tippy Tail Lemon Tree, if I can, I'm going to cut to a shot of cars driving 200 miles an hour from face on, and they look like they're not moving. Because
what do you mean from face on?
From like down a straight, like coming towards a corner, and the camera's in the corner.
I mean, if that's what the camera shots, I'd give you that, but there weren't any shots like that at all. We need to pause for station identification, and we'll be right back. So just the whole supersonic thing with Rodan and the way it's flying.
I have to say that I don't know if I meant to say that he's flying at supersonic speed, but he is flying so fast that in his wake, it's just like a rush of air, which is
that's what we're meant to believe.
Yes, exactly.
Which may have made sense in 57. Yes. I think we could probably move on from that concept now. It's hard to believe.
Well, except for they do it in the legendary films, so I don't remember that.
I need to rewatch it. We'll get there.
As Rodan is birthed from the volcano and flies over Mexico City, it is like ripped to shreds behind him in the legendary films. I don't know why I'm reaching.
Sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, but at that point, we're talking about digital things that can move very fast, and you can believably convey something that's not
sometimes
a model hung from string, just like kind of being moved a little bit.
It's not even that I think that you can't suspend disbelief. It's that you refuse to suspend your disbelief for these films. They're monster movies, for Christ's sake.
I don't.
I'll leave him out of this. He's suffered enough as it is. They're monster movies, for fuck's sake.
Anyways, one of my main criticisms of this film is this sequence, which I think is interesting. So we're going to call it Rodan, and it's a different design than we see later in the film. So it's like there's some one-off things in this sequence, I would say. Oh yeah. What they're using in this scene.
Really?
Yeah, it's anyways. Brown. It's got some certain detail on the beak and stuff, and they're kind of doing that thing where they're not really moving the wings; they're just kind of hanging it and moving it around.
Yeah. So
later in the film, Rodan is a reddish color. It looks different.
Yes.
And all of the movement, except for a few shots, like the speed of it is adequate. Like it looks like he's moving, and he's flapping his wings and stuff. Like it is believable.
I have a question. Related, but also kind of like a tangent. Okay. Also, I need to switch my headphones. I meant to do that on the break, and I didn't. These have like a microphone built into the line, and I'm only getting it's terrible. But before that, I want to do this. You have to be familiar with this idea of day for night shooting.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that whole sequence gave day for night. And that's why Rodan looks so different. I literally had that thought while I was watching. It was just like, wow, this whole, especially when Godzilla shows up, because they want to keep the detail of Godzilla and keep the detail, it's the only way you would really achieve that would be day for night.
Revisit that. I don't think they were doing that back then. But I mean,
you don't think that was a thing in the early 90s? And that's the thing.
Well, this is film. So this is film. They may have been editing digitally by now, but I don't know coloring wise how they would have been doing coloring and things like that. Day for night is typically something that
is done in post.
At least my modern concept of it. Yeah. My modern concept of it is something that's done very much in the the digital world, and it's possible through the digital world. I'm not sure how you would accomplish it. Could be a fun research project to look into.
The thing what caused it to pop into my mind is I was listening to some people talk about the movie Master and Commander, And I know that's obviously way newer than this movie, but there is quite a bit in Master and Commander that is day for night.
What year is that?
Shoot, I don't know, 2002 or 3.
Oh, yeah. That's all digital at that point. Yeah, it's just like, so typically, like, how you do day for night, like, there's dynamic range things that you're doing. Overall, it's kind of a blue filter. It's mostly blue filter and, like, exposure. To basically, the idea, if you're not familiar with it, is that you shoot something during the day and you, in the end result, make it look like it's night. And the reason you do that is you can see what you're doing, and you might have access to an area you're shooting that you don't at night, or you want to sleep during normal hours. There's a ton of reasons why you would do it.
I read that it was more to do with like the way the camera sensors work and how you're able to capture way more detail with way more light. And so...
Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to show, but obviously
Right.
You'll have way more detail if you shoot something during the day and then sort of make it look like it's night. When we see night scenes in movies, it could be shot at night, absolutely.
The other...
but there's so much added light because we naturally suspend our disbelief when we're looking at, and we believe that it's night when we're looking at it, but in real life you would never see anything of what we're seeing because there isn't light at night. There's like a ton of lights when you're doing night shoots.
Yeah.
Because you literally have to light the things that you're shooting for the camera to an extent to which you can see it. So like our cinematic idea of night is very different than like real life IRL night. So now I want to relook at that scene and see if it looks like it could be day for night.
or maybe
just we'll see
like
something on the trivia. But
the thing. So the two thoughts that I had about that was, and I thought day for night because I had heard that talked about recently, and I'm not super up on the way camera technology works, whatever. Like, so, but then my other thought was, it was really dark in the background, and there's just a whole bunch of light being poured on artificially, right? Like on set, obviously, to be able to give us the details in the suit and all that kind of stuff. You're going to notice some things are different here. Brian just finished a sentence there. My ears are suddenly... There's white things in them instead of black. I changed headphones. Anyways, we're going to continue this idea of them potentially doing day.
Are you sure the headphones you were using before weren't white on the outside?
I mean, they were clear.
Oh, I thought they were white.
They're clear with some kind of...
No.
You're probably just getting
I'm remembering it correctly.
From the light.
We were just talking about the potential of day for night process being used, specifically on the scenes of Rodan on this island.
And
this is such a tangent.
They may have done it for other night scenes in the movie, but where it stuck out the most to me, or where I first had this thought, was this scene specifically with like Rodan trying to protect the egg, Godzilla.
Yeah, so I actually just did a little brief research on was day for night possible before digital stuff. Actually, absolutely. So today, like the way we do day for night is like all through color grading. It's like pretty easy to do with digital footage and high quality. Before the digital world is actually all done in camera, nothing in post at all. So from what I read, they would use the big piece is like a blue filter to give like a blue tint. But they were doing this kind of an effect all the way back to like the early 1900s. And they would do it all in camera. Really, all they would do is underexpose what they were shooting. So it was like darker and then a blue filter. And they would call it a day. Just literally shoot it like that with a blue filter over the lens.
Yeah.
Call it night, you know?
That's
Can't fix it after. You got to nail it in camera.
Yeah.
But that's how film is, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in general, that's how film is.
Yeah. So, regardless of the day for night stuff, I guess that could explain the way Rodan looked with the blue filter, which would like take the red out of the design of it. But yeah, the flying around and stuff, I don't think was their best work. And the reason I was also wanted to talk about this scene is and this could be potentially like a day for night filtering thing as well, but when Godzilla shows up, I was finding myself wondering if it was the same suit as later in the film. And by that, I mean, when I first saw him, I was like, ugh. And then later, I was like, oh, that looks correct. Something about his face looked different. It looked more like an older Godzilla design. Like I know recently I've been mentioning, hey, this is the one. Like this looks good. The eyes look good. Something about the face shape is like a little cat-like, maybe. We got the little ears. Maybe I'm absolutely crazy. But like when his head showed up at the island, something looked off to me, and I can't figure out what it was.
Huh.
And then later he looked just like the last movie.
Yeah.
So,
big beefy boy.
The point is, we end up back in the mainland with an egg. So moving forward, Mickey's back.
Sagusa.
In theory, she was
my favorite.
In a movie or two ago as well. We couldn't figure out if she had been named or we were just supposed to assume it was her. But she's like the I sense monsters and maybe can predict the future kind of girl.
Telepathy.
Whatever you want to call it. It's a little vague the way they're executing it in this universe, but she can do things.
I mean, they specifically call it telepathy in this film. But
what does that mean? It seems to be a collection of things that she can do. Looking at my notes here, they have the center with these kids who are all kind of that way, it seems. And they go there because our main guy from the G-Force stole a bit of a plant from the lab where the egg was. He's a Rodan. I think I said that right. Enthusiast. I don't know what else to call it. He showed up with a camera to like take pictures of the egg and stuff, and she really let him kind of run around in there. She took her time kicking him out. She really took her time.
You're talking about the scene where he just like kind of barges in and he's like,
just walks into this lab.
She's like, you can't be here, and he's like,
he's like, I'm just a big fan.
It. Like what?
And she just kind of let him stay there for quite a bit too long. And whether he was there actually because he heard about the egg and was excited and wanted to take pictures of it, or because he wanted to steal a bit of something from there, which he did, a little bit of a plant.
Son of a bitch.
It's not really super sure, not super clear. She did kick him out. He didn't really take her no a whole lot. She said she was going to slap him, and then she closed the door. Then he takes his plant sample to Mickey, and they go to these kids, and they all put their hand towards it and sensed the plant and, quote, turned that into data, which became music. What the actual heck?
I have one word for you.
Is it? I should try to suspend my disbelief. That's not a word.
Extrasensory perception.
Okay, and that is supposed to explain that sequence of things I just described. Yeah.
The Matrix. There is no spoon.
The Matrix is not like that.
There is no spoon. I want to back up for 2 seconds and point out that this girl, Miki Sagusa, is, according to IMDb, she is in the same girl plays Miki Sagusa in Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla and Mothra: The Battle for Earth, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla II, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Destroya, and she has one other Godzilla appearance that we're You're
We haven't
not.
gotten to it yet.
You're not even. You're not ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
What if that was the title? No, it can't be.
Please don't sue us, 20th Century Fox.
Please don't sue us, 20th Century Fox. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, so I was not buying the, I don't know, I just thought it was like, there's a lot of ways you could have figured out how to wake up the egg, writer-wise. Ultimately, she played this data that came from the kids that happened to be music, and the egg started hatching. What do you know? There's like a lot of different ways you could have moved that plot point forward.
There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of different ways you could have cracked that egg.
Absolutely. And Mickey was throughout the film, so like she had a role and a purpose. The whole thing with the kids center, whatever. My overall criticism of this movie, which is at the end of my stuff I would change, is I think it's too long. I think it could be 30 minutes shorter, and I think that's one of the scenes you could easily cut and change.
Which is pretty odd for a Godzilla movie. Like, I feel like more often
it feels
than
too
not,
long?
Well, more often than not, we're just like, how the heck did they make it? Like, no, actually, no, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I feel like every other film, I'm like, this is too long.
This is too long. Could have been 45 minutes.
It did not.
Could have been a TV show. Yeah.
So, anyways, all that happens, and baby Godzilla hatches and is cute and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was cool. My next notes are like a lot further in the film, so
I mean, essentially we get this next chunk is the like
Godzilla does show up.
Godzilla shows up. They realize that he can sense baby, and they take
put him in a padded room.
Put him in a padded room deep underground. Godzilla says, "Hey, idiots! I can still sense him, so I'm going to tear the building down." And I thought it was kind of cool. I thought that scene was interesting in just the way that they showed. There were like different ways that Godzilla was freaking out. He like blew the atomic breath, but didn't blow the building apart, and it was like smashing it, and then like spikes would randomly glow, and he's roaring all weird. Like it was just like very non-standard Godzilla movement and action.
Yeah, and I forgot to write this down, but Godzilla in this film, I think this is a first. He has some vocalizations other than a roar.
Other than his main roar, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this sort of like this heavy animalistic breathing kind of a thing. He's almost like panting at times.
Yeah, which is...
And I thought that was definitely a move in the right direction. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I've made that comment so many times about how I miss those sounds from watching the newer stuff and then going back to watching the older stuff, and there's that, like, it helps him feel alive and real. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Our first fight between Mechagodzilla and Godzilla is in the sequence, I believe. This is when they test Mechagodzilla for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time he shows up to the city. Yeah. And we have a big face-off.
Yeah, there's the scene between like Godzilla and Rodan, and I feel like as soon as he fights off Rodan, then...
That's true. Rodan doesn't last that long.
Then they've had time to scramble the G-Force and launch Mechagodzilla, and it's kind of just like
the guys in charge are like says something like, "Now here's a test, like here's the final test or whatever.
Yeah,
make sure the thing works." So it's flying there. They have this whole landing sequence, and then we get to see what this cool Mechagodzilla does. It is tricked out. Pit My Ride, 1993.
Yoda.
There's all kinds of lasers. There's like this Iron Man style thing in the chest. This is like this
the
giant
grenade.
Blast situation.
Yeah.
It's very cool. All the like drawn on laser effects and lasery things look really cool.
The Iron Man thing hadn't even crossed my mind. That is so...
That was my first thought.
A lot of
the way he flies is quite a bit like Iron Man as well.
Yeah, like, and just like how there's weapons everywhere.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I was getting Iron Man vibes for sure.
Yeah,
maybe more closer to like war machine. You know, he's got some extra. He's got like the little turret thing on his shoulder and stuff like that from back in the day. But yeah, there's a little moment in this fight where I don't know, they try a bunch of stuff versus each other, and Godzilla tries the atomic breath straight on it, and what they were calling synthetic diamond coating, whatever
the diamond shield,
heck that means. So vague. The idea is that it's impenetrable, I'm sure. He used the atomic breath on it, and nothing happens. It's just like, you know, it's like a flame on something that is not affected by flame. Great analogy.
Title.
Well, you know, when you like are, you know, pointing a flame like out a rock or something,
like
the way that you know, the flame like goes around the thing, like that's kind of like what they did with it, and it looks exactly as you would expect. But there's a funny little moment. He tests it, and then he has like there's a little reaction shot to his atomic breath not having any effect, and it was so dog-like. It's like he cocked his head a little bit. He like kind of like turned his head. It was like, hey, like that was.
Wait a minute.
That was a little humanizing. That was like a good little moment. I like made me feel like you know, like an animal like trying to figure out this thing didn't work. I really like that. Pretty cool fight. Godzilla kind of destroys it, and they're like, it's gonna take weeks to repair this, so it must not have been very destroyed, but
did they use in this fight they definitely did the lightning or like the electricity lines that like shoot
shot
out
the
of the
bolts
forearms
into his body, and there's like little spurts of blood when they like go into his body.
So brutal. I love
it's pretty intense.
They're like dialing up the brutality of things a little
and there's
bit
like
film
electricity running down the lines into the body.
Yeah.
Pretty metal. Yeah, so all that goes down. Pause for acid reflux. There's something I forgot to say when baby Godzilla is, I was going to say born, when he hatches of his own volition.
All babies want to get born.
He's glowing and stuff, and he hatches. And they're all kind of like meeting him for the first time. They're trying to identify what it is, and one person is like, this is a Godzillasaur. I guess they decided.
She just calls out right away.
Which is, she really jumped to that very quick. This is a Godzillasaur, which, I don't know, obviously this is a fictional world, but it's kind of a lame name. The idea being it's the same species that turns into Godzilla. But someone says, like, yeah, it's a Godzillasaur, but it's less aggressive. And they just said that out loud in the scene, and I was like, how do you know?
How do you know this?
How do you know it's not aggressive? You just decided that it looked cute? I don't know. It was like the most random line.
The person that said that is Mechagodzilla, the person who had gone back in time in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah and seen the Godzillasaurus, and the person who has ESP and telepathy and can read emotions and feelings.
I'm sorry, I was raised on Jurassic Park. I don't believe that dinosaurs aren't aggressive just because someone says they are.
So, well, I mean,
I thought it was funny.
You know, yeah, it's one of those things, and it's very in line with the criticism I have of the series in general, where they've gotten better about it, but like solutions to problems just show up. New technology just appears. Like people
very
just
conveniently
know things. Exactly. Yeah.
So they have baby in sort of like a new area. They have sort of like, I don't know if it's outdoor or not, but they have kind of like I'm just going to call it like a zoo enclosure kind of a deal. Like they have like a fenced in area with a bunch of hay, and it's like sort of baby's zone. And the science lady, whose name I forgot, mother, we'll call her, she's just kind of hanging out there, and then our main guy from G-Force kind of shows up because apparently they're friends now, even though he broke into her lab. They're just like kind of cool now. So he's hanging out. And he rolls in on his newest
Azusa
invention.
is her name. Yeah.
Which I guess he's just an inventor as well. Why not? And I don't remember what he called it, but it's basically like pteranodon shaped flying bike, I guess. And he's like, hop on, we're gonna test it. Why? Like this scene added nothing to the film. But anyways, he flies around and it kind of like flies, and then one of the jets fails and they like crash, and then it just kind of hard cuts to them putting it away, and then we move on to the rest of the film. Don't know
Yeah, what
the point of all that was. However, when he unfurled it, I thought it looked very much like a Vespa, a classic Italian Vespa, modified when he was flying it around. And so I titled this the PteroVespa. Copyright pending.
Nice.
So this film has a PteroVespa. Yeah, that's interesting. At some point, our main G-Force guy gets fired. Well, demoted. He gets in trouble with the drill sergeant guy.
To parking lot duty.
Yeah. In a strange scene where like his boss like writes down the demotion on paper and then is making it into a paper airplane.
I know.
And they're having a conversation, and then he says something that he doesn't mean, and then throws it at him, and then he reads it and realizes that the guy was just being passive aggressive. I don't know why they wrote this boss guy in the way they did in the film. He's like very passive aggressive. It's like you can't tell whether he's cool or he just like hates our main guy, but they have to work together because they're both part of G-Force and they're both operating bits of the thing.
To me, the feeling I got from it was the officer was upset because he's not an actual army or like not an actual military person.
He's got a chip on his shoulder for sure.
And they've brought him in and they're like, hey, he's going to be part of your pilot crew. And he's just angry about it. And
he's very erratic the whole film.
Very erratic. Very like, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, guy gets demoted. We don't really explore this other than he happens to be standing near the English-speaking American guy who like pulls in a vehicle. And he's just spinning him in a circle on that car spinning thing. And he's like, wait, stop. He just keeps spinning because apparently he has an idea for how to revive Mechagodzilla and make it better.
Yeah. So the tie-in there is that he was one of the original people to work on the... What the heck is the name of that robot?
The X thing?
The Garuda? Something else? Or what, like...
Yeah, I don't really know what that is.
The thing that becomes the backpack gun thing, that ship.
Well, yeah, but
that thing is version 1 of what they built off of the technology that they learned from Mecha King Ghidorah, and then they innovated from there to make Mechagodzilla. So that thing was the like underpowered version 1 that didn't really do anything versus Godzilla, is what I got from the talking bit during the film. And he is part of he's one of the scientists or whatever that developed that thing.
So he has this idea to like put it on the back
to make it a backpack. Yeah, exactly. Make it a backpack of Mechagodzilla and use that in conjunction with Mechagodzilla, like just more power. And so he's had this idea because he's been sitting there as they've demoted him to parking lot duty. Like you're going to watch the parking garage. And so then he knows that this dude is the one that's in charge of the design of Mechagodzilla, and he traps him on the parking garage thing that spins you around to where you're supposed to go.
Tell him his idea.
And it's just like, hey, I'm not going to let you go until you hear me out here. So it's actually it's brilliant. I kind of like that spot. It was just like, he's so desperate to do this. He's like, I have to do that. Like, I just know this is a good idea. He can't stop his brain from I've started thinking about this and we can't stop.
They didn't show this. He just kind of like was there and immediately had the idea. I don't think they sold the idea very well, but we do get my favorite moment from the film in which he describes his whole idea to the guy, and the guy, with all of the acting prowess in the world, responds, yes, indeed, this would make it possible. That was not an exaggeration.
Oh, no, it's not.
That's literally how he said the line. Like,
you want I should actually cut in the movie here?
It's like the actor was being held at gunpoint the entire film.
For
Title.
real.
Tip you to a lemon tree. That title's too long. But literally, like, he did not want to be there. I don't know why they cast him.
He did not.
So, cut to, they analyzed Baby Godzilla's body structure, and they're like, hey, he has 2 brains, and one of them is kind of in his butt.
/ leg / upper thigh.
It's
his butt. It's his butt.
That junk in the trunk is a thinking man's dream. Why? Sure, fine. So basically they're like, hey, this species has 2 brains, and they don't really expand on what the brains are used for or how the bodily activities are divided. But they're like, hey, Godzilla
was
is the same species.
From what I took away from that was that brain is responsible for motor controls of the body. And then his other brain in his head does everything else.
I guess we're meant to believe that. And we're meant to believe that because they said, hey, if Godzilla is the same species, if we target that brain, he won't be able to move. Or they said something like that.
He'll be paralyzed, yeah.
The plot hole being, why are we not aiming for the other brain? And why have we not been aiming for the other brain this whole time? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's wearing a helmet. Like, what are we talking about here?
Title.
It's not like he's wearing a helmet. Like, I'm not sure what this new development added. Other than they're trying to show a link between Baby Godzilla and regular Godzilla, and show that, hey, like, we've learned something because we're friends with this little guy and we can use it to defeat Godzilla. That's the reason, but it's not a good reason. No. So I forgot to mention delicious.
Garlic chicken, baby.
Right after our PteroVespa moment, a children's choir arrives.
My favorite worst part of the film, dude.
And by children's choir, I mean the children from earlier whose scene was also useless. This scene was additionally useless.
By children's choir, I mean 17 autistic telepathic kids.
And they're like, we wrote a song, and now we're going to sing it. And I was like, I literally out loud, no one's in my room. No one's here. I'm home alone. I'm watching this. I literally out loud said, oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Can I be honest? Can I be really honest? I fast forwarded through that.
Well, it was my first time, so I needed to experience.
Well, I didn't remember it happening. I had the exact same reaction and went, nope, and just...
Why? Why is this need to be a thing?
I'm willing to believe that I don't remember it happening because TNT or the Sci-Fi Channel or whatever also said no, and just cut it out.
So not only is it completely unnecessary in every way, but the one girl, there's probably 12 kids standing there, like 6 feet away from the actors. The one girl sings opens her mouth to sing a starting note, and it is the most dubbed thing of all time. Like, obviously dubbed. She just goes, and it's like a... and then they all come in. It's basically like there's 12 kids standing there, and instead of 12 kids singing like right there, it sounds like 50 children in a cathedral is what it sounds like. It's like the most obvious dub of all time. Sounds nothing like what we're seeing.
Part of it
sounds nothing like. In fairness to them, they move quickly from them starting to sing to like a montage where they're cutting away to other things that are happening and sort of use it as a transitional thing. It's just
a transitional way to wake up Rodan.
I would have not done it. I would have cut it. I would have done literally anything else. Yeah, would have not done that or added it to the film. So ultimately,
stay in your lane.
We get in our final battle. We've got our revived Mechagodzilla fighting Godzilla. Rodan does show up at some point. We got a really cool moment. There was a lot of visual moments in this final fight that I was like, this is kind of iconic. I'm into it. The shiny lights and blinking things were pleasing. We have, I called it a Harry Potter wand moment with atomic breath and the, I think it was the laser eyes. I'm not sure what it was.
No,
meeting in the middle. It was the mouth. So it's truly like mouth to mouth. A Harry Potter wand moment where the blazes are meeting in the middle, and it's like kind of like a face off. There might have been a moment like that in the original Mechagodzilla.
Yeah,
actually.
Well, there's a name
this one
for
was
that.
Cooler.
And we talked about that in the original one. That was the first time. Well, just like beam to beam, or who even friggin' knows? But like
beam on beam action.
Yeah, there's that in the original Mechagodzilla movie. That was the first time something like that had ever happened in a movie. And so they definitely made a callback to that.
It was cool.
Sure
throughout this whole sequence, Aoki, that's our main G-Force guy, whose name I've been trying to remember the entire time I've been talking, and I just see here his name is in my notes under this particular thing I'm about to say, so I could have noticed that and then known his name this whole time. He's in this Gamora, whatever, the flying thing with the laser things.
The backpack with guns.
Yeah, he's floating around and stuff, and he's piloting it. Some of it's flying. Most of it's just kind of floating. It's a little ambiguous how this thing is propelled through the air, and sometimes it moves fast, and sometimes it's more like a helicopter, and it just kind of is hanging out there.
Hey, rockets,
So there's something about the design of the inside of this cockpit that he's in. It looks really cool. They put a lot of detail into it, and there's something that, like all the blinky lights, the colors, and then the helmet he's wearing, which I want to say said Johnson on it. Is that it? That can't be his name, is it?
No. It did not say Johnson. It had his actual name. It was his first initial and his last name.
It really was looking like Speed Racer to me.
Yeah, dude.
Like the imagery of like cockpit. There's something about it. It was like very anime, like old school anime.
Yeah.
Specifically Speed Racer. Something about like the helmet and the cockpit vibe and like all those details.
Well, and like his old like helmet though, not only Speed Racer, but his helmet had the slide thing in the middle where you could like pull your visor down.
Like a mohawk? Oh.
Well, like there's the thing where you could like pull your like would a visor would come down out of the helmet over your eyes, but he had the lightning bolts on the side. That reminded me of Star Wars a little bit, a little like the Rebels and the X-Wings or whatever, and also Speed Racer, a little bit of just like racing culture in general. And I bring that up because this is precisely when Honda started, like the car company started to get really, really good at Formula One and started winning a whole bunch of stuff, was in this era. And so, and they are like, Honda is just, they're the pride of Japan. They really are. So it would not surprise me that there was some kind of like bleed over between these nerds that are making these monster movies and these nerds that are doing Formula One. But maybe that's just because those are the two things that I'm really into.
That's funny. Yeah, that would make sense why you'd be into that. So we have the flying thing. It starts with a G. I already forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I'm calling it the backpack with guns.
So we get our awesome moment where it pulls up to the Mechagodzilla and it just sort of vaguely floats into a different position, and then we get the attachment moment. Actually, the one thing that really bugged me about that was it attached and like the guns were down or something, and then the guns like moved back up.
Yeah, why?
And then moved back down.
Why?
Why didn't we see it like attached already ready to go? Like that really bugged me for some reason. Like it made no sense. But there was a point so it like attaches. I literally out loud and I was like, toy sales out the roof. Like the moment happened, I was like, I felt like I was looking at a toy that like a million children had. Tell me I'm correct.
My brother Aaron had that 1,000%. But also that was the Gundam moment for me, not only in the way that they joined things together, but the Gunpla idea too. I can't believe I'd forgot.
But they for sure made a toy with a detachable thing on the back, right?
I have a Gunpla right here. I have a little
nice.
A little Gundam right here I need to build yet. But like
Did they make a toy of this? I assume they did.
Yeah, my brother had it.
Okay, and it like the backpack thing came off and all that.
Yeah.
It's like the toy makers like had an influence. It's like the marketing department's moment was shining in this part of the movie. I was like, yeah, marketing definitely had a role in that decision.
But what if
there was a detachable thing that attached later in the film?
Some extra guns.
For not really any reason other than coolness. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. And then just like all of the lasers were firing and it looked cool and stuff. Yeah, and there was a moment even when I was thinking about that where I was like, at what point in my consciousness have I maybe seen that toy? Or maybe like, like the idea of a Mechagodzilla toy or something. It's possible that I saw that in my childhood. You know what I mean? And it's just like something that I'd seen before, or looked familiar. I'm not positive, But the idea of Mechagodzilla, like, is a concept I was aware of before I like saw it in a movie, so I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
There
was a Steven Spielberg movie. Now that you say that, there was a Steven Spielberg movie that was like, I would say fairly recent, but I'm now of the age where I'm dropping decades all the time. So like, Ready Player One. The legendary...
You mean IP exhibition movie?
Yeah, IP exhibition movie. The legendary version of Mechagodzilla, the crazy one in the Japan movie. That Mechagodzilla is in Ready Player One.
Okay.
little Easter egg. It's just it's in a background fight scene or whatever, but it is the exact design. And
I'm
that
looking
movie,
forward to rewatching Legendary movies.
that
when
movie
we're
came out
kinda done.
years before that legendary Godzilla movie. Like it was something they had planned already, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so they took down Godzilla in this movie. They did the grapple zap strategy again, but this time they aimed it at his butt, or leg, whatever.
Shot him in the butt, and they blew up his brain, and they used
There's some pretty good reviews on Letterboxd making fun of
telepathy
this.
to blow up the brain in his butt.
He's down for the count. He's on the ground. He's not looking too hot.
Nope.
Rodan is there, and he lands on Godzilla and starts glowing and stuff. Gives him his energy.
Well, right, yeah, but here's where I noticed they did this weird.
It's like a Fortnite revive.
Well, I don't know if you caught on to it before this point, but it's not just all of a sudden Rodan comes out of nowhere. It's Godzilla's down for the count. Baby does this crazy roar thing. His eyes go red. And then we cut to Rodan, who eyes wake up a little bit, and he just then flies, lands on Godzilla, and pulls a Mothra.
I forgot about Rodan in this fight.
Pulls a Mothra, and just essentially gives himself up for Godzilla. He turns into the sparkly gold space dust that we saw Mothra
Edward Cullen
do.
dust.
Exactly. Yeah, we pull a Twilight here. We get Twilight. Rodan is a vampire. Title
confirmed.
And so, but essentially what we're saying here is that Rodan gives himself up, evaporate, and all of his energy and power is absorbed into Godzilla, and that's what allows him to resurrect and finish the fight.
So not only this, but Godzilla kind of levels up in this moment, you could say.
Yes. Dude, there are so many people. I was waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment the whole entire podcast. There are so many people who have only ever watched the legendary Godzilla movies who say that it's dumb that his spike, that he's changed colors or whatever from blue to pink. But it is not the first time that has happened, and I cannot wait for you to see what happens over the next 3 movies, because
interesting.
They build on that in a way that was even visited in Shin Godzilla a little bit, and it just I cannot wait. So anyways, he levels up his powers a little bit. We see dorsal fins flashing red,
new color, because they were pink earlier in the film. Blue, I believe. Blue.
There was occasional flashes of red when he was getting surged with the electricity from Mechagodzilla, and then he eventually turned it back, and that's how that's how he defeated Mechagodzilla the first time. But yeah, so dorsal fins are red. We're supercharged Godzilla here a little bit.
Now this is the biggest thing is his atomic breath comes out, and it is full red. Total so different great color. And maybe more powerful, charged up, something, because Mechagodzilla just the protective layer, fake diamond, whatever they're calling it, starts smoking.
Yeah. Melting.
And there were some gnarly shots, which I think were my favorite in this film, of a Mechagodzilla suit. Who knows what the scale is or whether there's someone inside. But there's dry ice or something coming out from the cracks.
Steaming.
Steaming. And then it just blasts it, goes down. And then there's a super gnarly shot of just a Mechagodzilla suit that's just literally on fire. Just in flames. And it's also a weird moment where inside, right after the scene, there's all of a sudden a voice, computer voice from the cockpit that says this suit is done. There are like no survivors or something.
The suit is destroyed. There are no
and then the
survivors.
guy's like, there's actually many of us, and then they like
Damage
leave.
level 10. The suit is destroyed.
He like corrects the voice, like, no, actually, there's quite a few survivors, and then they like leave the thing. I don't understand. These moments just like take me out of it. I'm like, why? That part was in Japanese.
Yeah, those are.
I don't know. It wasn't even delivery. It was just like, what did that add? And the final thing that I liked, I already said that I think this movie's way too long. I was noticing it throughout, didn't write it down at the end. I really like the music in this movie. There are some memorable moments. I looked it up. It is the original composer of 54.
Fukube.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, I don't think his other scores sounded like this. There's something interesting. There's at least one moment, I want to say it was during the first fight, when he was on the ground and being zapped with the things embedded in his skin. There was like a music cue in that scene that sounded like it was just ready to be sampled over a hip hop beat. Like I could almost hear it in my head. It sounded so cool. And I don't even remember how it went or what it sounded like. It just look up that scene again. It's
because now I want to sample it. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, dude. Like we can find the scene. I bet you I could even like just see if the soundtrack is out there or something. Maybe I could find like the exact thing, and then we could put like a little clip of it here. But yeah, really cool. Yeah, I like that. Overall, we've been talking a while.
Yeah, I had one note on the music. The music. I agree. Was and it's only because of something you said the last film. I thought the music was really great. There were some really great moments, but in the battle scenes, all they did was again alternate between Godzilla themes. Like
in this movie,
yeah, and then that stuck out to me because you had mentioned it before on the last movie, but score was really really great. And that was the only thing about the score that I was just like, come on, like, do something other than switching between the two.
Maybe some of the more emotional moments in the movie, like at the end, and some other moments. There is like some like sweeping, minor, sort of serious, sad sounding. And maybe reminded me a little bit of some of the things from the original 1954 score, which had like a lot of this B flat minor sadness, serious, somber tone. Like that movie is so somber. And I like that. Gosh, I need to find that music moment now. I'll have to do that later. But yeah, any other final thoughts?
Let me take a look here real quick. I just had written down, no, music missed it by that much. We talked about...
Give it another listen. There's some nice moments.
Baby Godzilla. No, and that's what I mean. There's some really great moments. I'm totally agreeing with you. It just that they're like, it's just that I was like maybe trying to pay attention for this film because of your comment about the last one, that like I just noticed in the battle scenes, it was like, oh, we're back to the Godzilla theme again. Oh, here it is again. Like, but there are still really awesome. Yeah, it's a really great score. I agree. I think that's a great list. I think everything other than your disability to suspend disbelief, I
think everything I said is completely valid.
I think your notes are really great. No, I mostly agree for sure. What did you give it a score on Letterboxd out of 5?
Do you have any trivia items before we do our final?
I did not actually look up any trivia on this one. Do you have any?
There isn't a lot, so I only have 2.
Okay, cool.
And then we can end on our final take.
Sure way.
One was that there was an early concept that had Mechagodzilla being split into 2 separate machines. And if you like look on like the
Gundam.
official poster, that's what's in the poster. Like they ended up not going with that idea. But I'm trying to pull up the poster here. You can kind of see there's a thing flying away. There's other stuff he's holding. Again, I don't like have the prototype on hand, but so that was an initial design that did not end up going through. But that's a trivia item. Second trivia item. There's a guy named Shinichi Wakasa. And he started a company in 1980 at the age of 20. And I'm not going to say the name of the company because that's the trivia. But this is like a special effects sculpting company. The first thing he worked on was Ultraman 80. 91, he was a makeup artist in a horror film called My Soul is Slashed, which is a Toho film. And then starting in this movie, and I think he worked on the next two, he made the suits for this film. And his company is called Monsters Inc.
No.
It's real.
That's so cool.
You know how hard it is to find information about this company by Googling Monsters Inc.? So hard to find. You have to Google his name and then Monsters Inc. because all it comes up is Pixar and Disney stuff.
Yeah, it's the Pixar Revy.
But yeah, this is on the Wikizilla. So I don't know if he worked on... He worked on the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy as well. So, kind of cool. I thought that was cool. All right, final ratings. I will be honest. There were some iconic visual scenes, and I was like, "This is like a tentpole